Christmas.
Ding dong ding dong, dong is the song with joyful ring, all caroling. One seems to hear ding dong ding dong,
Oh shit, just bumped it. Of course I did.
Let me at least try to make this look a little nicer.
Well, I've already tilted it so that we're not showing all of this shit I have sitting on the bar over there.
Hi, everybody.
Hi everybody, welcome to Amy Loves Bad Movies. I know you were expecting Tales from the Dark Side. It's going to be delayed one more week, and then we are definitely going to get to it. It's been kind of hectic with the holidays. Like, we're recording this impromptu on Christmas Eve. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
You're not wearing your hat.
Fuck. Oh shit, we need to redo everything now. It's late at night, Christmas Eve, and we hopped on to Netflix to see if there was
We
any
just re-upped our Netflix account, and I have so much shit to catch up on that.
holiday stuff. And I was looking through, I was like, okay, is there any holiday movies that might look good? There's the
We're
Santa
like,
Claus.
no,
Nope,
not
that sucks.
Christmas, no,
Miracle on
not Santa
34th
Claus,
Street,
not Christmas the
and
Cranks.
Scrooged.
I like Scrooged. It's just I'm not in the mood for Scrooge.
Christmas of the Cranks. We're not that desperate.
No, we're not.
A Christmas horror story.
I think I've heard about that, and I believe it was directed by the same guy who did Trick or Treat.
It is not, because I'm pretty sure it's not, because who was the director for that?
I can't remember. I just remember hearing about it from a friend of mine who
This is
recently watched it.
I think the movie you're thinking of is Krampus. Director Trick or Treat. Yep, I was right.
And it was Krampus too, right?
Yeah, Trick or Treat made Krampus, so this is not the same guy.
Oh, okay.
He also made a Trick or Treat Making Friends, which was a
And apparently
2011
Trick or
short.
Treat 2 is in the works.
Possibly. Oh,
Possibly.
shit.
What? Oh, he's the one doing the Godzilla
He's making
King
Godzilla
of
King of Monsters.
That's gonna be good.
Fuck yeah. And apparently Mothra's in it too. I'm looking at the poster for it right now.
What?
Yeah, look. That's a moth.
Oh, that's fucking a moth.
That's gonna be awesome.
Mothra. Yeah. Back to this movie that we found randomly on Netflix.
I'm looking at the poster right now, and you have to see. Fucking hell, I lost it. Apparently, this stars William Shatner.
No.
Yes, this is a non-rated movie.
Let me see.
No, I'm not joking.
William
Starring William
Shatner.
Shatner, George Buza, Rob Archer. Directed by Grant Harvey, Steve Hoban, and Brett Sullivan. This anthology features a quartet, that's four, of holiday-themed horror tales, including Santa battling zombie elves and demonic Krampus stalking a naughty family.
Oh, boy.
How naughty are we talking? And is
See
it
you guys
casting?
when we get
oh,
back.
shit, it's not casting. Hold
It's
on.
not casting.
It's not casting.
La 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 la. You know it's gonna be good when it starts out with that music. Alright, it's loading, so we are going to be right back, guys.
I was gonna say, are we?
La da 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 da. So I was actually thinking about scrapping this whole project into like the last 5 minutes of this, which makes the entire 1 hour
Hour and a half.
worth it.
At one point, okay, so like I read from the description for this movie, it's basically 4 stories going on at the same time.
It feels
Remember
schizophrenic. The editing is quite terrible.
Yeah, remember when we made the homage to Trick or Treat, that one Halloween movie that basically has 4 stories kind of going on at the same time?
Yeah, but those blended a little better than that.
Because they actually told the bulk of their stories one at a time. Mm-hmm. They had their obvious connections to one another from time to time, but it basically knew how to pace itself. It was like, oh, here's a connecting thread that you might see later on, but we're focusing on this story right now. We're not talking about that movie. We shouldn't be talking about that movie.
Similar here, but it's not as well executed.
Yeah.
Not even close to being as well executed, with the exception of one story.
Now, I can tell that they wanted heavy... They did take heavy inspiration from Trick or Treat, because they wanted the whole, multiple stories going on at the same time.
Rules of Christmas, rules being broken, consequences for those rules being broken.
So one story, not really. As a matter of fact, I could say two of these stories aren't very Christmassy.
You have a Virgin Mary story.
Okay, so yeah,
You have a lost child story.
Right, and then you have a Krampus story, and then you have a Santa Claus story.
Yeah, so there's 4.
Which are all going on kind of at the same time.
Over like a 12-hour period.
Let me try to explain some of this. How spoilerific do you want to go, or do you want to say...
Let's just talk about the stuff that we found interesting. Let's not talk about the whole thing. Because there were some that, okay, so the Virgin Mary story, basic ghost story.
Yeah, they're
basic paranormal investigation parody story.
And that one spends
an ending you see coming.
Yeah, so that one goes in a very predictable route, and you can see where it goes from there. Then there's another story.
We'll do the changeling
that one
next.
Character goes with her family to visit aunts.
Oh, you're gonna do the Krampus one.
Because that one's so cut and dry.
It's basically a very short, very tied down version of the Krampus movie.
Very short. Like, this story actually had
it could fit in 15 minutes.
I feel
very
like
easily.
Yeah, this had like the second to least time spent on it. Basically, the family goes out to visit their aunt in order to ask for money or something like that.
They piss off a Krampus.
They're horrible, horrible people. They piss off the Krampus.
Which is apparently, the Krampus is a spirit that you find out that can just fill you. So there's like, a person can turn into a Krampus if you piss them off on Christmas. That's weak. And that's the basis of that story.
That's one of the... I'm like having difficulty ranking which one of these stories is the weakest.
Well, we know what the strongest one is.
No, as a matter of fact, I would have to say the Krampus is the weakest.
Yeah.
But then again, this is kind of a neck and neck race to be weakest.
And between that one and the paranormal are the two weakest ones, and the two stronger ones. I think the Changeling and
but even then, the Changeling one is barely any less worse.
It had more effort put into that.
Yeah.
I thought the scenes were set up like there were some genuine scares with like the eyes glowing in the background.
Yeah, actually, they had some.
The Changeling is probably my second favorite.
So the Changeling, what happens is a family goes into the forest and they're basically trying to find themselves a Christmas tree.
Past a no trespassing sign.
Yeah, they go through a no trespassing area. They grab a tree. They start going out, and then basically the kid gets lost, and it's actually got this nice little kind of tense moment when
his name is Will. He goes to the Upside Down.
So there's this really tense part where the parents are running through the forest calling out for the kid, and the kid is walking through the same forest, and you can't hear them, and he's lost as fuck. And I actually kind of legitimately
felt scared for the kid.
That.
Yeah, and it was done well enough to where you actually felt the tension of the parents. Mm-hmm. Like, you're kind of like, are they going to find the kid?
Yeah, because,
are they not? Are they going to, is what's going on here?
The shots they used for that, it's the same trees, the same setup, the same rows.
So
and
basically, they're existing in the same space without actually being able to go to each other.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things that makes you go, oh, that's unsettling.
Well, they find what they think is the kid.
Oh, hush, you gotta ruin all the palpability of the story, and I don't care.
No, it's not. It's obvious from the beginning because he doesn't need an inhaler anymore. He's not saying a word. Like, it's very obvious that this is not their kid, to the point where I'm actually mad at them for not knowing that that's not their kid.
But yeah, they establish a bunch of stuff beforehand that the kid does this, and then when they find the kid, he basically isn't talking, he's not using his inhaler, he's just standing there.
So the Changeling's power is purely aesthetic. Like, it's not like he can take on the personality or any other stuff.
It's very bizarre. Like, you don't know what you're up against. And that's one of the things. It's like the kid just shows up again and they take him home. And they try doing, Christmassy stuff like decorating the tree and hanging out with him.
He's eating like shit tons of spaghetti, apparently.
And it's one of those things you're just sitting there like you don't have any obvious clues as to what they might be dealing with. And it gets to a later point when like things start like
escalating, and you're not sure whether or not the parents are going to survive or whether or not they're going to get the kid back. And it's done well.
It's like you could have had more like rules to follow, or like have a better idea of what kind of monster you're up against.
Well, if they had a whole movie to do with that, it would have been successful. But they have a segment, and
one had paranormal grudge ghosts. One had Krampus. This is just broad term changeling.
I think part of not knowing about it is what makes it mysterious, because you don't know how to handle it.
Yeah, but then when you find out it's a changeling, it kind of sounds boring.
Really? I thought that made it scarier, because you don't know what a changeling can do.
There's no, like, they prefer this, they avoid this, they don't do this.
So it was unsatisfying for you because you didn't learn more about the thing that you're supposed to be terrified of because you don't know anything about it.
I mean, there's a creature that they have, and they just basically say, yeah, we're using this creature. And I'm like, okay, can you tell me more? No.
Well,
just hit it with it.
And on the other end of the scale, they explained the hell out of the Krampus, and that ended up being stupid.
And so
the one that
now the last
we both
story,
agree on was
which
pretty
is
cool.
The last story is by far the most enjoyable. It's nowhere near the others, and you're gonna question me when I say that this is one of the best stories. It's about Santa Claus at the North Pole, and it turns out one of his elves isn't feeling too good, and then he just decides to chop open his own hand, sprays blood all over the fucking elves, and oh hey, zombie elf pandemic. And so Santa spends the next several hours basically fighting off tons of zombie elves, and there's actually some pretty good action. It's enjoyable, and it's funny as fuck.
The acting in all of this was pretty hokey, and that includes Mr. William Shatner, who is basically shit-faced DJ.
We haven't even said anything about Shatner. Yeah, he's got top billing.
There's not really much to say about him, except he's kind of the in-between narrator.
Yeah, he pops up every once in a while.
You could cut him out of the movie, and it wouldn't make any difference. You could cut him completely out of the movie.
There's a point to it, but we're not going to say what it is, because it's honestly it kind of feeds into something, but by far the Santa Claus story is the best. It precedes
twist ending.
It precedes the whole movie with a whole like Santa Claus goes and checks on his reindeer, and then something kicks down the door to his stables, and it goes 12 hours earlier, and you're like, okay, are we not starting with Santa Claus then? It goes bouncing back and forth, and suddenly you get Santa Claus, and it's zombies, and it's goofy,
and it's a Viking
and it's
Santa
funny,
Claus.
and it's the most enjoyable part, because for the one thing, it's not trying to take itself seriously, which is great. I love that drunken Shatner rambling at the end, though. That was pretty funny.
Yeah. So overall, it's definitely worth a watch. Just you're gonna have to slog through some pretty bad shit.
we got an hour into the movie, and I said, "How much of this do we have left?"
And we really weren't back in until the last 5 minutes.
The movie lasts for an hour and a half, and you will feel that.
Anyway, this has been Amy Loves Bad Movies. Next week we will definitely be getting to Tales from the Dark Side.
Who directed that again? A lot of people, right?
A lot of people wrote it.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember the director's name at the moment. It escapes me.
I know Arthur Conan Doyle is in there.
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle died a long time ago.
Then how did he make this movie?
He didn't make the movie. He wrote one of the stories.
Oh, okay.
If you had paid attention to the trailer, you would know that. Or even just know that Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, being the author of Sherlock Holmes, probably not still alive to write a movie in the 1990s.
Hey, they cryogenically froze Dr. Evil. They could do the same thing to him.
Yeah, sure. They're storing him right next to Walt Disney. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
vile enemy of Christmas.